Okay, here we go, part 4. Trying to think now. So yeah, we had a little bit of a, wasn't even a malfunction, it was just a kind of a slight scare. I thought my controller had messed up on me, but it turns out I just did not understand the control scheme of this particular version of Symphony of the Night. So in the last video, we went through the parts of the underground cavern. We fought Skilla, which was piss easy, and then we had to take a long detour, ended up in Ulrox's quarters, visited that for a little bit, got to listen to some pretty cool music, and then we ended up in the Colosseum, fought another boss, found out that Richter Belmont is apparently the master of the castle for some reason. That pesky narrative. And we got the form of Mist, which all it really does is let me go through metal like caged walls. So now, not really sure where I want to go at this point. I can think of a few. I can think of a few places I can go now. For starters, though, I can take a massive shortcut and actually use a library card because I need to go there for a moment. Can't speak today, apparently. Sorry, music, I know. So, let's see. So my thought now, I know there is a, at the end of the library where I fought the Lesser Demon back in video 2, or part 2, I guess, there is a metal grate that I can get through now, so I'm gonna go do that first since it's right here. And then following that, I don't know, following that, I guess there's another part of the library. I'm gonna try to see if I can just squeeze into it. Nope, I don't know if the game's gonna let me, but I'm gonna try. And then I guess it'll be back to the underground cavern because I still need to finish that out because there's like a whole other section to that place that I need to investigate. But in the meantime, here we go. We're fucking flea men. Oh my god. Okay, enough. Damn. Again, they're not really that imposing. They're not really that difficult to figure out, but my god, they're a pain in the ass. No. Want to keep my lightning glove. Shit's pretty wildly cool. I don't know what. Ah! There we go. We've got the soul of bat. Yay! So I can transform to a bat now. Awesome. So now we've really opened up. Now this is the point where the game is basically now, in all honesty, basically 100% open. I've got bat form, I've got mist form, I've got wolf form, but who cares because it's basically useless. Matter of fact, I'm really not. I think it's just there for posterity's sake, since, you know, according to the Bram Stoker novel, Dracula, vampires can turn into wolves and shit, so I guess it's just there because, but I really don't. It genuinely serves absolutely no purpose in this game, except for one specific trick that is like really weird, and there's nothing in the game that actually, as far as I know, I don't think there's anything in the game that actually tells you can do this, but there's a trick you can do in the castle entrance area involving the wolf form and I believe the bat form, but we'll probably wait on that for a little bit. I'm not that worried about it. If I'm being honest, it's really not that important. What is this? A fairy card. Oh hey, I get to use this finally. So this is actually something cool in this game. You can actually summon familiars. You have to find the corresponding relic to get it, but this is the fairy. I would tell you what it does, but I'm not 100% sure what it does. I think it heals you, or something to that effect. I honestly do not know or remember or honestly care. At this point I've just got it out here for the sake of having it out here, I guess. Okay. If you're wondering what I was doing there, I was trying to clear some grayed out spots on the map. I believe there's a trophy connected to that, filling out all the spaces on the map. I'm not a huge like achievement hunter type person, but I don't know. It's a nice, cute little reward, regardless. But I think what I'm going to do now. Lord, I actually did not expect to get the bat there. I don't know what I thought I was going to get, but I really didn't expect the solar bat. That really does that like well, I'll say this much. I could actually right now I could go and beat the game right now. I could actually go and beat the game and get the end credits. But it would be the bad ending, because spoiler alert, there's multiple endings in the game. Admittedly, I wonder. Let's see. I should be able to do this. I might as well. See, the whole thing about this game. It was again, it was released back in 1997, which may not seem particularly important. But in terms of how this game was kind of was received at the time. You know, back in '97, for those who are not aware, internet access was a thing, but it wasn't really like as common or as like you know, surefire as it is today. And so for the most part, like, unless you went and bought a strategy guide for this game, you wouldn't actually necessarily know that there are different endings to this game. There's actually like a few reviews actually I've read of this game where you could basically tell whether or not the writer of the review figured out that there was a little more to the game than just what I'm about to do here. It's actually kind of silly the more I think about it. But that's just the reality of it. I mean, people just didn't necessarily have access to all this information all at once. I know when I first played this game, I mostly tried to play it without any sort of guide or any sort of hints or anything like that. But at the time I played it, internet access was a thing. I had my own computer, so I got on the internet. I was like, Symphony of the Night guides, and that's when I found out, oh my God, there's a whole lot of other shit in this game other than what I'm about to do here, because what I'm about to do is, since this stairwell is broken to pieces, I'm going to use my bat form, and I'm going to float up here. I want to keep that. I want to open this. I want to see what actually is in here. I know... I'm not really sure what's going to be in here. Frankfurter, hot roast, turkey, sirloin. Great. And what else? Resist stone, resist dark, resist holy, and a platinum mail. Wow, that actually sounds awesome. But it's not as good as a diamond breastplate, so, which I guess makes sense. Platinum isn't quite as hard as diamond. So okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go over this way and we're gonna take a look and see what's going on in Dracula's throne room. Sorry if I bumped the mic.
I've been waiting for you. Richter, why would a Belmont ever plan to resurrect Count Dracula? Dracula rises once a century. One chance for each Belmont to shine, and then we're finished. Forgotten. If I bring him back now, the battle can last for eternity. Okay. Well, I guess it's a fair enough motivation for our boy Richter, who actually hurts like hell. Oof.
Oh shit. Okay, this might not be as straightforward as I wanted it to be. Okay,
Power. My
maybe it will be.
greatest attack.
Ooh. Oof. Oh. This could be very bad. Actually, ooh, this might be very bad. Well. Heal me, damn it! Anything! Oh my god. This may not have been the best idea. Okay. That was... oof. Oh my god! No, my sirloin! He cooked it! He cooked my sirloin, he cooked my meat. Oh god, do I have any... okay, that may get me through this. That may just get me through this. This is a lot harder than I honestly remember it being. Holy hell. Damn, Richter does not play.
It's over, Belmont. So, the war between humans and vampires finally ends here. What need for the shepherd when the wolves have all gone, huh? My time. It's over now.
So yeah, there you go. So I imagine a lot of people probably got to this point and then were like, what the fuck, you know? Here we go. Another amazing full motion video of a textureless castle. And well, and there we go. But yeah, don't worry, we're not quite done with this game yet. This is really only the beginning to some degree. I just kind of wanted to show this off because again, I know I've read several reviews that seem to indicate that the writer thought that this was the actual end of the game, which I can assure you it is not. This is kind of like I guess a false ending of sorts, but I thought it would be interesting to at least show it, because I barely ever get it.
Mankind knows little but war and desperation. What other way of life did Belmont know? He and Father chose the same path. Farewell, homeland. I shall never see your beauty again.
Oh wow. Please tell me I can actually skip this. I probably can't, knowing my luck. Oh hell. Great. Okay, well, I can at least talk about this for a second. This is not the original end theme to this game. I was actually kind of banking on the original one being here, but I guess I should not be shocked, considering all of the different voice actor changes that occurred when this game was ported to PSP. I guess I really should have expected that the end theme would be missing as well. Okay. Really wish I could skip this, but that was the risk I was willing to take. But that's okay though. So yeah, there's the two directors, by the way, Toru Hagihara, and then I don't know why I guess that's the correct. I don't know. Koji Igarashi is the other director, so there were two directors on this game, like I had mentioned. Again, though, Igarashi, he did not actually come onto this game until it was like halfway done, because like the original director was just like, I'm taking a vacation. Fuck it, finish this for me, please. Which is really weird, because in retrospect it's almost funny, because, you know, nowadays most people, when they think of like the Castlevania games that were, you know, Symphony of the Night and onwards, they always think of Koji Igarashi if they're in the know in terms of, you know, the developers. And I guess to a certain extent it matches, but it's funny to me that he didn't really like he didn't actually magically just become the lead on Castlevania. It was just kind of almost feels like it was a fluke. There we go. There's Michiru Yamane. Did all the music for the game. Did really good work on this one. She's done really good work on lots of games. Actually, her first Castlevania was Castlevania Bloodlines on Sega Genesis, which is really cool. It's got a really great soundtrack too. It's a really good game, by the way. And I believe it is available in the I think it just came out a few weeks ago, maybe last month, the Castlevania Classics Collection, whatever it's called. I think it's on like Switch, PS4, Xbox One, PC. I think it's on PC. Honestly, that whole set right there is basically worth it for Bloodlines. And I guess Castlevania 4 as well, but kind of have my ups and downs with that one. Come on, let's Oh, and special thanks actually to, that's funny, Akira Yamaoka. That's a funny name to see. That's the gentleman who is the mastermind of the all of the music for the Silent Hill games all the way up until 4. No, Shattered Memories I think was his last one. And then he kind of was like, I'm done with this. These games got crappy real quick. I wouldn't be shocked if he might have helped with some, well, I think it would be obvious he probably helped with some of the music. But then again, he was also a producer. I think he produced Silent Hill 3, I think he was one of the executive producers on that one. He's a pretty cool dude, Akira Yamaoka. I think he's freelance now. He was doing a lot of work with like Grasshopper, Suda51 Studio, but I don't really know what he does now. Like I said, I think he's just freelance, which is fine. That's probably where he belongs. He's too good to be stuck to one company. He should be able to do whatever he wants. But yeah, I don't know. This new ending theme is not too bad, but I'm still very much. I much prefer the original, ironically enough. And it's not really a nostalgia thing. It's not a bad piece of music. It's kind of got like this weird, I don't know. I would suggest just looking it up on YouTube or something. It's almost like a ballad. It's really out of place and really inconsistent with the tone of the game. But it's kind of funny. So okay. It's the only thing about the PS4 I hate. It doesn't actually give me a timer based on how long I've been not streaming. Lord, recording. Wish I was streaming. Can't happen right now. My current setup is just not built for it. I'm like 30 feet away from a wireless modem. I don't have any way of physically connecting to it, and if that was the case, I would happily do that. Okay, so that was the bad ending. Obviously, we're not gonna stand for that. In the meantime, I guess I can go back to the castle entrance. That seems like a pretty good idea. That is not the right way to go, though. Well, actually, no. No, fuck that. Scratch that. I can come back for all that stuff later. It's really not that important, and I don't really want to go that way because that means I gotta go through the whole clock tower area, and that's just wrong door again. There. This should be what I'm looking for, I think. So yeah, so obviously, like I said, that was a bad ending. There's multiple endings to the game, and incidentally, oh, I do have a choice. I could just go through Ulrox's quarters real quick. No, let's go to the beginning first. Let's go to the main entrance first. But there are still plenty of stuff I need to do before I can actually get the quote true ending. Obviously, if I don't know, I might have gone past it too quickly at the main menu when I was choosing my save file. But I think it said something like I don't know, I got like 63 or 60 something% of the map completed. That should be a hint in and of itself. So there's still plenty of this map I've got to cover, and there's still several bosses just that I can think of off the top of my head I still actually have to beat. Like, it's really not too stringent. Like, if you've ever seen a speed run in this game, it's really not... The game itself is really not that, it's not so much about, like, how much you've progressed or how much stuff you've got. It's, like, if you know what you're doing, you can basically, like, wall warp and skip straight to the actual final boss fight and do that. We're not gonna do that. Mainly due to the fact I don't know how to fucking do that. But in this playthrough anyways, there's gonna be a few things I've got to get before I can actually get into the actual final act of the game. Oh look, it's our friend Gurka. What a name. You know, it's just simple stuff. There's like a couple of optional areas you got to go to, a few items you've got to pick up and utilize in specific situations. Just a little menagerie of different little things that are needed to be done to get the full effect of the whole story, I guess, if you want to put it that way. But first things first, we've got, again, we still got to go back to the underground cavern, or whatever it's called. We got to go back there at some point, because there is there's a little more to that I got to get through. We've got to go through Ulrox's quarters. That's kind of an important bit. There's a few things there we have to pick up. Some point we have to go back to the chapel, because there's actually a very important thing we have to pick up there. We just can't quite get to it yet, for a number of reasons. Enough of you, Blade. Okay, okay, so I'm trying to remember how to do this one. I think it's you've got to go as a wolf and walk through it. And then you gotta go as a bat. Is that right? Because it doesn't give you any indication that it worked or that it did something. I really don't remember how this goes. It's like, or is it the opposite? I'm really trying to wait. Yes, okay, I did do it. All right, there we go. So yeah, it doesn't really give you an indication. Like, you have to actually go down to the room, and then it'll give you the audio cue that it worked. I cannot believe I remembered how to do that. Again, I'm not really sure how anybody was supposed to know how to do that. Unless there is something I've missed, and there's like maybe some kind of hint or some kind of. So I don't know, because I remember reading about that and thinking it was fake. You know, back when I first played this, I read, like, I was reading I think I was on GameFAQs and happened across a mention of that specific room and that specific secret room, and I just remember at the time thinking, how in the hell would anybody know to do that? Also, we have the power of Wolf now. We're probably. I'll put. Wow, that door just kind of blanked into existence. That's funny. I'll be honest though, I don't think we're ever gonna see the wolf again. At least I highly doubt it. I mean, again, it just doesn't serve any actual purpose. I don't know what. I guess you could do this, which is nice. Well, I take that back. Maybe there is one other thing you can do with that, but you know, it's whatever. Actually, now that I think about it, let's go to the underwater cavern, because now that we have the bat form, we can actually navigate it. Now, see, this is actually sort of what I like about this game, and what I like about games like this, is that, you know, you get all these shortcuts, and you get all these, like, you know, quick ways of traversal, and then like you'll be thinking, okay, so what do I do next? And it's like, oh wait, that's right. I've got this thing now, so now I can go here and go inspect what's going on here. Now, let's see. This is leading back to the big waterfall room. Okay. So again, keep in mind, we still can't touch water. That's something I'm going to try to rectify here in the next little bit. Also, I would like those shoes. We're going to talk about those shoes later. Once I am able to traverse water without issue, we're definitely going to talk about those shoes, because they're, yeah, it's kind of dumb, but it's also kind of funny in its own weird way. We do need to do this. Something appeared by the wooden bridge. Okay. That actually leads to a, well, that's actually in reference to a pretty neat little puzzle of sorts. Also, here come the most dangerous enemies from Rondo of Blood by and far. These things were just awful in Rondo of Blood. They were just horrendous. Because, you know, Alucard, he can aim down. Richter Belmont in Rondo of Blood didn't quite have the same, didn't have quite the same moveset, since, you know, he's stuck with the whip. Okay, so now this is a trick that, upon looking at it nowadays, is unbelievably obvious. But at the time when I first played this, I pressed that switch, said, you know, oh, something appeared by the wooden bridge, and then I saw this, and I never put two and two together. But you're supposed to let him blow up the little wooden bridge. Younger me was not quite as intelligent as I would like to admit, or as I would like to think. We're gonna come back there. We're not gonna go there quite yet, because that's a whole, as you obviously can see, that's a whole other area, which sort of leads into a whole other area. So there's, like I said, there's still plenty of this castle that we have yet to uncover. Now, I know I mentioned it in the last video, but I absolutely adore this piece of music in this game. This is just so damn good. It is just so well orchestrated, so well put together. Whole soundtrack is really, but like pieces like this really are just absolutely some of the best you could ask for in a video game. They're just so good. Guess I can go up here now. This is mighty helpful that I can do this now. So yeah, so the bat's actually really good. It's got a lot of very good utility involved with it. Absolutely love the bat. I love the look of the bat too. It takes on the color of your cloak, and actually, just like the wolf, you can actually see my sword is still it's still sheathed on the bat. So this, I'm trying to remember what this is. This might be. This might. Yes, I know where this is. Or I know what this is, anyway. This is more pesky story, by the way. Coming up. This gives a little... Well, again, I think I mentioned it in the first video. Possibly. If you've watched the Netflix Castlevania series, what you're about to see is... You already know. Like, you probably already have pretty good backstory for Dracula. You have some pretty good backstory for Alucard. That show, I gotta say, it does a pretty damn fine job of actually sticking to the lore of Castlevania. It's like spot on. Everything that occurs in both seasons of that show has precedent and basis in Castlevania 3, this game, a couple others, in fact, Castlevania 2, for instance. So yeah, here we go. We have this save point. Obviously, it looks a little different than all the other ones. Wonder what it could be. What could this be about? Nightmare. Okay, so we have a bunch of people. Uh-oh.
Mother!
Alucard, Is that you?
I'm coming, Mother! I'll save you!
No, Alucard! Stay away!
Mother!
It's all right. If my death can save others, I gladly surrender my life.
No! I won't let this happen!
It's too late. Just stay with me. Hear my last words to you.
Yes, Mother.
Humans. You cannot live with them. You can only hate them, do them harm.
What?
Theirs is such a hard lot. Release them from their pain. Begin with the ones who killed me.
No, it wasn't like this.
Alucard, what's wrong?
My mother never said such a thing.
What do you mean? I am your mother. Do as I say. Release them. Kill them.
No, you are not my mother. What kind of demon are you?
Strong enough to break my spell, I like that.
You deserve worse than death for this, demon.
Then give it to me, little boy. Don't be shy.
No, that's certainly not suggestive at all. Be honest, she's gonna die real quick. So this, somebody could probably correct me if I'm wrong, but I am pretty sure this is a completely optional boss fight. I think. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's a succubus, and she dead.
Darkling, I smell your blood, your hunger. That strength, that beauty. You really are the son of Lord Dracula.
Death in the dream world will set your soul wandering for eternity, demon.
Wow, they did not
Wait!
actually change that line.
I beg of you!
Thank goodness for that. I always thought that was a really, badass thing to say. But well, actually, no, it's not an optional boss fight. I correct myself because of that little item right there. We're gonna need that. That's one of those important items I had mentioned previously. But yeah, so that was a succubus fight. Really, really simple. Not even a big deal. That's probably the only real negative I can give to this game, and it's kind of, admittedly, it's not isolated to this game. You see it a lot in Metroidvania titles where the longer you play it and the more shit you get, the more absurdly OP you become, and thus a lot of stuff that you would think might pose a challenge ends up being really kind of not challenging at all. And that's, I mean, again, that's just the nature of a game like this. It's gonna happen. That's not to say it's bad. It's not bad at all for that. Why is that spot not really? The hell? Oh boy, this map is glitchy as hell. I guess. Well, I guess I'm actually gonna go down this way because I need to. There's still some more stuff I need to get, and I know that seems like a complete waste of time what I just did there, but I think I mentioned it last video. This is an area that sort of, I guess the developers thought people might want to try hitting it, but it doesn't really announce itself much. So it took me a while to find out there's this whole frozen area down underneath at the bottommost part of the cavern.
Thy destiny awaits, O prince.
Also, that merman statue I'd gotten on the other side of the caverns, I needed that to have this fairy guy show up. It's the only reason that item exists. It's to get this guy to show up right where he showed up, so that he could take me on a boat all the way out here. And the weird thing is, like, the more I kind of describe this stuff and kind of give the tourist guide version of this game, it's actually funny to me. A lot of this stuff isn't quite as esoteric as I'd give it credit for. Really, it's not that bad. A lot of it is a lot of the main stuff you'll basically kind of come across on your own without much hand holding. It's all sort of laid out in a way. Look, that'd be a snorkel. But they call it a holy symbol, but it allows me to walk in water. Damn, I'm getting a lot of trophies tonight. Why? So now I can do this. I can actually technically go in the water now and be safe in the water. There's not really a whole lot to say at this point. I've been making pretty good time, and I've been making good. I've been very productive with uploading stuff today too. Hopefully everything goes according to the way it should. I really should have this recording up in the very near future after I get to the end of it. But yeah, this I mean, there's really not a whole lot else to say at this point. Like, we're kind of getting to that weird stretch where until we start going to some new areas, there's really not a whole lot to say about what I'm doing. It's mostly just busy work. A lot of it is just a little bit of backtracking, a little bit of double checking on certain things, making sure I've got the critical items that I need to get the good ending. The knuckle duster, wow. We're not even gonna bother with that weapon because I'm done with knuckle weapons after the jewel knuckle fiasco and that being kind of really kind of just shit. I'm not doing that anymore. We'll be going this way though for a little bit to go take a look at some stuff. And also, fair warning, there is a very distinct possibility that the recording may suddenly stop. If that happens, do not fear. It just means that I've reached an hour on video recording, because apparently that's all the PlayStation 4 Pro allows you to do, is up to 1 hour of recording. So, not a huge deal. That is actually a cool weapon I got. I may end up playing around with that later. The Nunchaku, I don't, whatever they're called, nunchucks. Michelangelo's weapons from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's how I've always known them. Ow. I guess at least they do damage. I'll give it that. Yeah, I'm gonna go out on a limb here, though, and I'm gonna at least claim that I am well past the halfway point of, well, I'll be even more cryptic. I'm not quite at the halfway point of this game yet. I'm getting there, but we're not quite there yet. Getting there, but not quite there. We should be there. I think probably. Obviously, we're not going to get there this video, but I think the next video, I think we will probably get comfortably to the halfway point of this game, which is about where I wanted it to be. Like other people who have played this that I've seen online on YouTube, usually it's between 10 and 12 videos. Just kind of depends on what they end up doing. Myself, I'm not really going for a full completionist run at this point, but. You know, I'm just kind of doing as much as I can to make the experience at least kind of interesting. Trying to point out interesting factoids and weird little details that other people may not have noticed or may not have cared about. Now, in this case, this is mildly important. Well, I don't really need to get that now. I can get that later. Gotta stop thinking in terms of damn trophies. I'm not that big. They're not that big of a deal. Oh boy, look how many trophies I got. Like, who gives a fuck? I don't know though, I guess trophies, achievements, that sort of thing, I guess it gives a little bit of extra lifespan to a video game, but I mean, like, I don't know. Like recently I've been playing through Kingdom Hearts 3, and there's like a set of achievements that's literally kill 500 enemies, kill 1,000 enemies, kill 3,000 enemies, and I'm like, why? Like, that's such a weirdly arbitrary thing to do. Like it's not gated by any kind of like skill check or any kind of like, you know, hidden secret. It's just, oh, play the game, test your patience and play the game, and hopefully if you do it long enough you'll get a trophy. Like, I hate shit like that. Drives me nuts every time and it's a very common thing you see in video games nowadays. It's always like kill this many of something, or collect this many of something, or some ludicrous bullshit like that. But I guess people like them. I mean, I know there's some people, I know there are like whole like websites dedicated to people showing off how many trophies they've collected and blah blah blah. I guess I'm really no better. I've got a few platinum trophies myself. Like, I've actually fully completed trophy lists on a few games, but not like 4 maybe? Trying to think. I know Odin Sphere, Ukulele, Nier Automata. For some reason, Fallout 4. I don't know why on earth. And I think I got all the trophies for Soma, but there was no platinum trophy involved, and I think they were all literally just progression trophies. Like, as you played the game, they just, oh, here's a trophy. Congratulations, thanks for playing our game. Oh, okay, this room. This is a neat room. It's kind of like a quick way if there's like a specific sub-weapon you want to get. That's one way to get it. Don't ask, I guess I need to check what that is, because I don't know what that does. Skill of Wolf. Transform into Wolf. Run swiftly as Wolf. Special move as Wolf. Like, what? That's the I don't know what that would, like, does he, oh. Great, wonderful. So it's basically nothing. I don't know what it does. Maybe it's, well, no, maybe it's the bite, because I don't think I was able to do that before. Maybe that allows me the ability to bite. Now that I think about it, I'm really having a tough time remembering what it... Well, I guess where am I going? I'm going up, because there is that whole section up there I haven't done anything with. I should probably go check that out. But don't worry, in case, like, if somebody is watching this and they're like, oh god, this is the point where autopilot engages and he doesn't actually know where to go, blah blah blah. I know the critical path at this point. I know what I'm doing. It's just I'm just making sure, because there's a lot of shit in this game, and sometimes I tend to forget about a good chunk of it. But to give hints, I know I've got the ring, one of the rings I need, because I believe there's 2 rings I need for a true ending, and there's a piece of armor that I need to acquire. Oh boy, another familiar. Oh, that's right. Hold on. So I got a bat card and I got a ghost. I don't know. I'm gonna go with ghost. Now the familiars themselves are actually pretty cool, because they do level up, and as they level up, they do gain like special abilities, and they learn to do new stuff. My only real issue with the familiars, frankly, though, is that like by the point you start acquiring them, it's really kind of hard to just sit there and let them like level grind, because they take forever to kill basic ass enemies. Like, this is something that really should have been. Like, if they were really serious about implementing this kind of stuff, they really should have implemented it at the beginning of the game. Like, very near the beginning of the game, instead of where they decided to start plopping them. I don't know, I know there's a couple, like, they do have their uses, though. Like, there's one in particular that allows you to get to a secret area that you need to get to. There's another one that actually is really cool, but is a big old pain in the ass to take full advantage of. So I don't know, maybe to extend my time with this game a little bit, I might show it off when I get it, and I might try to actually get it to start get it to start doing stuff, because it is really neat, and like the reward at the end of it is really cool too, but once you fully level up this particular familiar, but at the same time it's also, again, it's real tedious. Then again, that's kind of the name of the game, well, at least with a lot of the aspects of this game in particular. There's a lot of there's a lot of surprisingly tedious stuff in this game, much to my chagrin. I wish that wasn't the case, but it is. Let's actually try this. I wonder if this will do what I need it to do. No, doesn't do anything. We'll go ahead and just head into Ulrox's quarters then, but we'll keep that ring on for the time being. Again, if you didn't have a guide back in 1997, I don't know how anybody would have really started putting two and two together about some of the items you have to get and what you're supposed to do with them. Because I mean, just the sheer number of items you get in this game, it's not an impossible thing to think that somebody might miss an item description. Like this is like I don't know. It's weird. It's great, but it can be weird sometimes. Also, I think I did mention it in the last video. I know I did, but this is really one of my favorite areas in the game. It's really cool. Real chill music. Go, Ghost. Do whatever it is a ghost does. Which does 10 damage to an enemy I'm doing 40 damage to. This is great. Yeah. Okay, I guess I could give a little backstory on this area, because this area is actually really cool. It's got a really neat sort of meta history about it. So, like I said, the name of the place is Ulrox's quarters. Ulrox is the name of a vampire that lives here. He is a vampire who lives in this rendition of Dracula's castle. He has an entire quadrant of the castle dedicated to himself. There's not really much given in terms of like backstory for Ulrox. It's never like there's nothing in this game, for instance, like that explains who he is or why he lives in Dracula's castle. He's just here. But there is a sort of weird trivia about Ulrox. Count Ulrox in this game, who we will be meeting shortly, is actually a very not even veiled reference to the silent film Nosferatu, which is a film by F.W. Murnau. And in that movie, if you're not familiar with it, it's a unofficial film adaptation of Bram Stoker's Dracula, which was made back in the 1920s. Silent film, really good. It's a really good movie. If you can handle silent movies, it's really good. Anyway, so the vampire in that movie, since it's an unofficial adaptation of Bram Stoker's Dracula, they couldn't call him Dracula, so they instead call him Orlok. So his name in the film is Count Orlok, and so Ulrox in this game is a kind of is a nice little shout out to Nosferatu the movie and Count Orlok the character, who we're about to meet him right now. Here he is, sitting at a dinner table. He wants us to sit. Oh, well, I guess we're not eating, jackass. Go, Ghost, do your thing. Now, I'm not gonna lie, the last time I played this, and I played the PlayStation version last time I played it, I killed him, apparently I did something, I'm not really sure what it was, but I guess I killed Ulrox so fast that the game didn't know what happened, and it literally soft locked on me, so we'll see if he does that again. We don't want to get hit by that. Not the hardest boss ever, but he is kind of creepy as hell. Just for the record, this part of the boss fight has no basis in the Nosferatu film. Count Orlok does not transform into a giant reptile thing. It's kind of neat. Sort of a croconaw idea there. Croconaw referring to Super Metroid. There's a boss there in that game who, after you kill it, sort of gives you a jump scare. Except all his skin is removed and all he is bones, and he tries to lunge at you one last time but falls to pieces. This is sort of a, I guess not really a tongue-in-cheek reference to that, but I'm pretty sure that's what the developers were going for with that little animation at the end for Ulrox, who is now very dead. I think so. We got to go back to the courtyard now, and that was that big room that I didn't even bother to explore because I just wanted to kind of go ahead and kill this dude. Not really tough boss fights at this point in the game. All of them are going to be mostly pretty simple. Again, though, there's a few at the end, at the literal ass end of the game, that are like considerably more difficult than anything else in the game. Like they're not really that hard, but they're a lot harder than what you get at this point in the game. Like way harder. In one of their cases, like it's a much more difficult fight than what the game had presented up to that point. Let's see, I think there's a save point over here. I think. Could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is where it is. Well, no. Let's see where this takes us. Again, as I think I've said in every video, apologies to headphone users. I know some of these enemies are ludicrously loud, and there is not a thing I can do about it. Okay. Do want to just go ahead and come this way, because this opens a quick little shortcut. This will be useful later. Actually, pretty soon, I think, but yeah. Trying to think, It's like the part of the game where, again, this is like the part of the game where it almost feels like I'm going on autopilot, but that's not really the case. It's just there's a lot of traversal and a lot of backtracking, you know. Trying to make it as fun as I can. Just wish the ghost was a little more in line with like doing something. It's kind of weird. We'll say that I kind of almost regret getting that diamond plate. This is a neat effect. Ooh, the water's turning red. Ooh. Boogie woogie woogie woogie. So, ooh, there's some weird graphical glitching going on the map there for some reason. Is that the moon doing that? This is the moon doing that. Weird. Huh. I don't know. I'm assuming it'll come off in the recording, but if you look closely at the moon in the map screen, you could definitely see it. There's like some weird, I don't know what that is, shimmering, artifacting, some kind of goofy bullshit. Actually, me and a really good friend at one point, we played this game. I had a copy of it on PlayStation. We played it on his PlayStation 3, and that moon out in that courtyard, I swear to God, looked basically it looked like a really haphazardly drawn or haphazardly pasted JPEG image of a moon. It looked really bad on PlayStation 3. I'm guessing because it was like maybe running the game at like maybe, I don't think it was rendering the game at a higher resolution, but because it was running on a higher resolution television, it just looked like shit. Alright, so we're gonna pull out the sword card now. This is pretty cool. Pretty cool, familiar, I guess. He's not too shabby. He's a sword. I really could have sworn there was a save point in this area, but maybe there isn't. Probably because it's so close to the chapel. So this is a really cool familiar, though. The way he works. A fucking moon, though. Hi, Nevin. That little story was for you, you dummy. Anyway, this familiar, the sword familiar, it's really cool because, like I said before, the familiars, they can level up. As the sword familiar levels up, though, a few things happen. One, he starts talking. Two, he becomes a little more sentient, so he actually starts going after stuff. And 3, as he levels up, he gets way stronger. And once you get him to a certain level, and I forget what level it is, but once you get him to a certain level, you can actually wield him as a weapon. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's the strongest weapon, or like the highest damage output weapon in the game, I think. Could be wrong, but I think I'm right. Let's see, what else do I have here? Well, what is that room? Oh, that's... I can't get there yet. I need another ring for that. Well, let's... I think at this point... I think he's saying render, not thunder. Keep thinking he's saying thunder, but I think he's saying render. I guess at this point, going by my clock, I think it's getting about to that point where I need to at least save and probably prep myself for the next video. So hopefully you've enjoyed this one. I know this was not the most action-packed part of this ongoing adventure, but that's just the nature of this game. There's just a lot of backtracking, and there's a lot of traversal, and there's a lot of bullshit you have to do. But yeah, we made some pretty good progress, fought a few bosses. We still got way more to come, because looking at the map, we've still got that new area that was opened up in the underground caverns that I can go to. There's still... trying to think. There's still some parts in the middle, like direct center of the map I need to get to. And I believe there's a bit more out to the right. But in any case, that's stuff to look forward to in the next video. So hopefully, if you stuck with me this far, I hope you've been enjoying it. And hopefully you will join me for the next part of this endeavor. Thanks for watching.